So, getting into our book of the day. Now, at 17, I was stressing about my prelims, finally beating my arch rival debate team, fighting with my mom over all the cool parties I wanted to attend, what to wear to my matric dance, and who my date would be post my heartbreak that I was convinced I'd never recover from. The pain of heartbreak, I thought I was a gone girl for sure. Now, these are relatively the typical dilemmas faced by 17-year-olds. But for 17-year-old Chanel Wewege, her life was making a turn and knocking towards what at the time I can only imagine to seem like heaven's door. What do you do when you go to a hospital over what started off as mild dizziness on a holiday, which quickly progressed to serious bleeding and backaches, to being diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia? And all of this just at 17 years old. Then, without having the time to even process your sudden scary new reality, you're abruptly rushed off to a foreign city to begin treatment because if you're not treated immediately, the condition can be fatal. Now, that's of course not it. You then spend the next couple of years or couple of months rather in chemotherapy, being prodded and probed with test after test, losing weight, and your hair, which we know every girl's hair is absolutely her crown. And all of this is happening while you're in isolation with the constant fear of death lingering. Just what do you do? Well, you don't have to wonder because this is Chanel's story and this was her reality. And she takes us into what she did in her book, Cancer Unveiled, a teenager's battle with a formidable disease. Now, I don't want to continue with this conversation alone, so let's put a pin in it and circle back to it with the author herself right after this. And as promised, here is the incredible Chanel Wewege. Chanel, hello and welcome.
Hello, thanks for having me.
I'm so glad that you took the time out to come and visit us here in the studio. So without wasting any time, I just want to get straight into it. Take me back to when you were 17. Who were you then and before the diagnosis, just as Nizzy's, Daddy's Nizzy, and tell us about that.
Okay, so I come from a very, very close family. So everything is very family orientated. Like my best friends were actually my cousins. I'm sure that is the same for a lot of South Africans, but yeah, very, very, very close family. Never in a million years thought that anything like this would ever happen. I mean, that's not something that you think about. Yeah, I was a little bit of a goth at school, so I was doing a little bit different. Very into rock and getting into like high school bands and stuff like that. So yes, the one time I brought my parents to come and watch my music, and my dad was like, he said to my mom, like, what is this? Like, what is this even? What is she doing? What is she singing? So it was, yeah. So I was a little bit wild back then. And yeah, but I was a normal teenager, I think, in the sense of the word. And I really, really loved biology. And my dream was to become a doctor. That was actually something that I aspired to work towards. I don't know if my science and maths were any good, but to me, I was going to be a doctor. So that's it. That's it. It was going to happen. That was me.
That was you.
Yeah. And then I went to Pretoria to visit my aunt and all of them. And then we went on some rides. And then that evening, I came home and I felt like a little bit sore on my back. And then the next day, we went shopping. And then I all of a sudden felt really, really dizzy, and I fell over some display boxes in the store. And yeah, it was just really weird. I can still remember lying down and hearing everybody talking, but I couldn't actually move. So that was really, really strange. And then I went home, and fast forward to that. Then, of course, it was the New Year's party. So we were all like, oh, we're going to go to St. Francis Bay, you know, getting ready for New Year's and everything. And I'd been home for quite a while since being on holiday, so I was fine again. But yeah, it was almost like I forgot about it, you know. And then I was at this New Year's party and whatever, and I just felt like really wet on my legs. And I ran to the bathroom and I just had a look and I was just bleeding everywhere. And I hadn't, it is Women's Month, so we can talk about these things. It wasn't that time of the month. So it was very worrying. And I just carried on bleeding like the whole night until the next day when my mom came to fetch me. And then obviously they knew something was wrong. And then I had to go to the doctor. And then the doctor thought it was flu or something. I don't know how you can connotate flu to bleeding, but that happened. See, I was supposed to be a doctor. I wouldn't misdiagnose myself. No, I'm joking. That's horrible.
So it's January 2005, okay? Yes. So as you said, it's just after New Year's. Now, you've just heard the news, so I can imagine it's gut-wrenching.
Yes.
When did the reality or your new reality sink in for you? And was there a specific incident that took place, and what was it?
Yes. So when I was diagnosed, okay, first of all, I went to the doctor and then they gave me a Voltaren injection because I had this really excruciating pain on my lower back. And then there was another doctor, they were going to send me home, and there was another doctor that walked past and walked back, and she came towards me and she was like, are you always this pale? Started asking my mom questions. Fast forward, I went home and I fell asleep on the couch, and then I heard the phone ring, and then I heard my mom crying. And then we rushed to the doctor and everything, and then I actually walked out of the consultation room. I didn't want to hear what was wrong because he immediately said, "You're very sick. This is very serious."
Oh my goodness.
And I literally got up and walked out, and then I heard my mom screaming like she went crazy. And then I was like sitting outside, and then they came out and they tried to tell me, but I didn't understand because I didn't know this big word leukemia. What is that? And then when I heard cancer, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to die. Like that's the first thing you think about. Then my little brother, the one that was going to be, that is my donor, he was like, Nelly, are you going to die? And I think that is when it was like, wow, I actually can't answer you. I can't tell you.
Oh my goodness. So your book is titled Leukaemia Unveiled, a teenager's battle with a formidable disease. So this stems from you wanting to denounce the stigma, as you've mentioned, around cancer, because a lot of the time you hear cancer and you think, oh,
yes,
I'm definitely dying. And for people to know that they are survivors. So during your battle, what gave you hope and vigor to just continue to fight?
100% God, first and foremost. Definitely my family, they helped me through it a lot. My mom actually, she left her job to come and lie on a lazy boy chair next to my bed every night, to sit with me and be with me throughout the whole thing. So my dad had to look after my brothers, and my mom came up and she was with me every step of the way. So it was just, there were times when I did give up because the treatment was excruciatingly painful, especially the bone marrow biopsies. And so basically what they do is they screw in, it almost looks like a corkscrew while you're still awake, and then they pull a piece of your bone, and that's what they have to test. Because if it did go up to my brain, then that would be fatal. So I was very lucky. I had it for 6 months without knowing. So the book is to actually encourage people to get early detection. Definitely.
So touching on the book, okay, so writing a memoir, I can imagine, requires you to go back and to revisit certain moments in your past. What was it like when you were writing the book?
Yes, so it was terrible. What happened was when I was in hospital, I actually kept a diary. But the weirdest thing is I still have that notebook. And you can see the deterioration in my handwriting from when I started writing to when I was getting more and more sick. And that sort of helped me to pinpoint, but it is horrible, and I do still get flashbacks, smells, even tastes of certain foods, the smell of disinfectant, like this whole thing with COVID and stuff that triggered me badly just because of that smell. It's amazing how that happens, yeah. So, I'm rambling on here. I can't even remember what you asked me.
How was it writing the book?
Writing the book, yes. And then obviously I'm not like a writer, you know. So I was good at creative writing apparently, according to my teacher. She probably just liked me and then she just said I was good.
No,
so
but in the book I can see it.
Thank you. So I wrote it from the perspective of a teenager. So it is very short. It's only 100 pages, so it's easy for someone to read who is physically going through it, or someone outside. It's a very quick read, and it still has that childish aspect from the perspective of a teenager, which I wanted to leave in the book. I didn't want it to change. I wanted it to be in the first person, and to make it more real.
Now, without spoiling anything in the book for someone who hasn't read it, okay, there's an interesting moment, or that you talk about when you were in hospital. So your brush with an angel. Could you please take us through that?
Yes. So this, I mean, a lot of people are going to be saying that it's not real, it can't be, and whatever. But I can attest for the fact that I honestly went through it, and look, I was on a lot of pain medication and stuff, but this exact moment, I actually wasn't on any pain medication at the time. So I can't say that I was hallucinating or anything like that. But my mom would, she smokes. So she would have to obviously go out and have a break and whatever. So she left me alone the one time. And I was inside the isolation room. Now, in this specific room, I was in a room, and then there's another little room to wash your hands and stuff, and then out. So it's very, very tight isolation, so very limited visitation. And I was sitting there and I was looking through my magazine, and this woman walked in, but she was crying. And it was a very beautiful colored lady, beautiful. I can remember how pretty she was, because I was like, who's this woman? Like, who let her in here? Like, how? I don't even know. I can't even remember what she was wearing, but it just seemed like someone had sent her there, like maybe just because I would get a lot of gifts and a lot of letters and a lot of stuff from people that I didn't know, who were just supporting me and following my journey. And so I just thought it was one of those people. And she just sat next to my bed and she said that God sent her to come and speak to me and to tell me that I was going to be okay and I was going to be healed in a year. And that was so profound, because it was exactly a year almost. And then she just cried and prayed with me, and then she left. And then my mom came in, but it was almost like she didn't have enough time to leave, and my mom came in. So I was like, what? Okay, now my mom's here. What's going on? And my mom's like sitting there. I'm like, did you see that lady now, Mom? Like, she just came to pray for me, and this is what she said. And I was like, I was weak and stuff, but I was so excited at what her message was, you know.
Probably so comforting as well.
And my mom was like, no, there wasn't anyone there. And she went outside to the nurses. She was like, was there a visitor for my daughter? Like, and they were like, no, there wasn't. Nothing on the cameras.
Nothing at all.
Nothing.
That's incredible.
So, and I promise you, you can't make that stuff. So that was that. Look here, God is real. That's all I can say.
I'm getting chills just talking to you about 100%.
It.
That's amazing. So we have so much to unpack. But let's give it time. Okay. Here's Sean Amandes with Lost in Japan, and we'll be back with Chanel to talk more about her book. And a warm welcome back to the book club with myself, Thinumzi. If you're just connecting, we have Chanel Wewege in studio, author of Leukaemia Unveiled, a teenager's battle with a formidable disease. Now, Chanel, you were just a teenager when you were diagnosed. After recovery, how was it getting back into the swing of things?
Very good question. It was very difficult because I weighed 35 kilograms and I still had my J line in. So it's like it's a port that they put inside your jugular vein that goes out the bottom, that puts in the chemo and the blood transfusions. And because I was at Curtis Hospital, so it is a training hospital, they did block my port, the one side, but it's fine. It worked well right through, thank goodness. So I had to learn how to walk again, literally, from the start, because I was so weak and so thin. and so, how can I say, dependent on the pain medication, because we touched on it earlier, the chemotherapy actually burns you from the inside. So it's a chemical burn from the inside. It's excruciating, painful. That I actually was addicted to the pain medication, which is crazy. So it's almost like you have to go through cold turkey to get yourself off that as well. So everything is just like a whirlpool of like different sort of sensories and stuff that you have to go through. And there is no book, even my book, that can tell you how to deal with that, because everybody deals with things differently,
That's true.
So for me, it was very difficult. I was progressing to grade 11 at the time. So for me, I had to do correspondence through Damlin to do schooling, and I didn't actually finish that. So my aunt owns a hair salon, so she had said to my mom, you know what, Chanel is creative, let's try and see, let's put her through college to do hairdressing. And then I did that a little bit, and then I also didn't want to do that. So what I can say is that because I had all these ideas and aspirations of what I wanted to be, because I'd planned to be that person, and this thing had happened so suddenly and changed absolutely everything in my whole life, I almost felt like, not sorry for myself, but I was like, why must I go through this? Like, why must I do this? And now I don't want to do hairdressing. I don't want to do this, but for some reason I couldn't do the correspondence to finish my matric. So I do not have matric. But that being said, I'm not ashamed to say that I don't have matric, and I can still get it if I want to. But I went into the motor industry, and I've sold cars, and I've been in the service department. So I've been doing it for the past 15 years. So for me, my experience outweighs the matric side of things. But I'm not saying to kids they must do matric. Please don't get me wrong. This is the book club, guys. Please study. But yeah, I have I have that always. I have it in the back of my mind that I'm going to do it, and I will do it. And it's never too late to do it, which I believe. So life has put me in a circumstance where I had to survive and get through what I've got through with what I had. We were not rich or anything like that, so we'd have to get everything ourselves, which I have been doing, and yeah, it got me to where I am today. And I think I'm pretty successful, given what happened. I mean, I didn't give up.
And you're a really great makeup artist. Don't forget that.
Yeah. So makeup I love, hair I don't love. Hair I don't love, makeup I love. Yes, I'm also a professional makeup artist. Worked for Mac and Inglot as well. So it's always been sort of between the two, creativity and customer services and sales. Okay. So I think those are where my skills lie. I'm not a doctor.
So unfortunately.
I can still do that as well. We can do anything we want.
Yes. And your dreams only die when you are gone.
Exactly.
For as long as you're here, they're still very valid.
Exactly.
With friendships, didn't you struggle with developing friendships when you were, at 17?
Yeah. So all my friends basically just carried on with their lives. Like, I didn't have a matric for a while. I still want a matric for a while, Mom. So I'm still waiting for my matric for a while. Then my mom to pay for my nails and my hair. And so funny enough, everybody moves on with their life, and that's the thing. That's the most difficult thing to deal with, is that everybody is moving on outside. Like, I would stand at my window inside the isolation and look outside with my little drip stand and my little gown, and I would look outside and I'll be like, why me? Like, why can't I be those people that are just walking on the streets? And you sort of take everything for granted. But the weirdest thing is, people would give me money. People would send me money, give me things, give me chocolates, I didn't want any of that. I only wanted health. And so that is very important to understand, that health is more important than money. Money can't buy health. It can't. No matter how rich you are, you can't cure yourself from diseases,
That's incredible. Now, before I start crying, okay?
Sorry.
You're an incredible vocalist and a musician. So what would the soundtrack to your life be? Can you give us top 5 songs?
Okay, so Bruce Springsteen, Tougher Than the Rest. Because, yeah. No, I'm joking. Yeah, but Bruce Springsteen, I love Bruce Springsteen. I love the 80s very much. I was in a metal band when I was younger. Yeah, so my music sense has changed over the years. So I think 80s, like definitely Bruce Springsteen, Roxette, all of the oldies, you know, Bryan Adams.
Was there any song that carried you through
Yes.
during the chemo and everything?
Yes, so back then I was very, 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 very into Evanescence. And the one song specifically was My Immortal by Evanescence. And yeah, read the book and then you'll see there's like some stuff in there regarding that. So Amy Lee never texted back, by the way. I just want everybody to know. But anyway, I did send her a message. Just so you know, Amy, you got me through. Yeah, she did.
Amazing. And your brother. Your brother at just 9 years old was your donor.
Yes.
Where is he now and how is he?
He's such a little, he was so little. And that is the saddest part out of everything because I could hear him down the passage going through some of the things that I went through. So the bone marrow biopsy with the corkscrew thing, my dad actually had to hold his head in his hands so that he wouldn't move because you have to be awake because it can paralyze you. So I could hear him screaming and that was just the worst. But he wanted to save my life, and just before he went in to have the bone marrow extracted, he put his hand up on the glass because I couldn't actually, because kids carry a lot of germs, and so he couldn't come in to actually see me. The thing is, this is going to hit. Even though I'd gone through all of that, all of those months of chemo, all of those tests, all of those things, the bone marrow could still reject inside my body. So even though I felt like, okay, it's coming to the end, it wasn't the end. It could be the actual final end, you know what I mean? So there were a lot of challenges to face during that. So the doctor actually has to sit and watch you throughout while the drip's going in. So that's great. So Dane, at the moment, he has got, I think she's 2 or 3 now.
Amazing.
He's got a little baba and a fiance, and they live in Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
And he's teaching. He's got tattoos, by the way, from head to toe. And the kids love him. So he's in his 20s now and he's doing well. He's thriving. He's amazing.
Your relationship is probably so tight.
Yes.
It's probably incredible.
Very. But I haven't seen him for 2 years. Dane, come visit, please.
Certainly. So I'm looking at you. It's 2024. You look incredible. I've been saying this since you walked in the door. And you have such an amazing aura. How are things? What's the tea? How are you? What's going on?
Okay, I'm very well. I'm in a very good relationship with my person, and he is amazing, and we are trying to build a life together. And I think all I want at this point in my life is peace and tranquility and just purpose. You know, as you get older, you start to understand like what is important and what is not important. So health is very important again, I'd like to say. So I'm just focusing on me, and I'm doing some TikTok videos for some singing stuff out there.
Where can people follow you on TikTok?
Yeah, so my TikTok is just Chanel Wewege. And then you can get me on Facebook. My book is on Facebook as well. You can order my book from Amazon. You can get a Kindle ebook version of it or a paperback, whatever you like. It's a very quick, easy read. And I hope it inspires people.
That's so great. So here's my favorite part of fan quiz. Okay. Yes. So I don't want you to think too hard about these things. Whatever comes to the top of your head.
Okay.
So what superhero would you be? If you were to be a superhero, who would you be?
I don't know. That's a difficult one. Maybe Storm?
Why?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I don't even know why I chose her. I don't know.
Mine's probably Shadow. It would probably be something because she has great hair.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's the hair. It's the hair in the eyes, guys. The hair in the eyes.
And after recovery, what's the first food you had and you were like, I missed this?
I'm not even joking. Scrambled eggs with tomato sauce.
Really?
Don't even. I swear, and roast potatoes. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted.
And what's your favorite book?
My favorite book. I really love to read Stephen King books, and what's that called? Geez, I have a lot of books at home, and now just because of that question, I can't think of one of them.
It always happens. It's always like that.
The Tommyknockers.
Okay. Our book chat is Ed Sheeran with Afterglow. I will be back right after this.